Here's Mr. Dan Pena.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you back in the Netherlands. We have, of course, lots of questions. But to start with, what is your definition of a high-performance person?
Being all that you can be every day. 24/7, 365, being all you can be.
If we would like to improve the quality of our lives, personally and professionally, what would be your advice? What can we do? What is most important?
Well, the most important thing is self-esteem. The people that we read about, the people that we admire, the Elon Musks, the Steve Jobs, the Warren Buffetts, etc., all have one thing in common. They have extremely high self-esteem. And, of course, you've heard me say this before, self-esteem is built the first 7 or 8 years of life. And unfortunately, we're with our parents the first 7 or 8 years of life. Ergo, we don't have too much high self-esteem. But to build high self-esteem, and the way you build high self-esteem, if you're 25, 35, or 45, is to be around, surround yourself with other people that have high self-esteem. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And so you can reverse your childhood by who you associate with.
How do you do that?
Well, you find people that are where you want to be, but they're already there. You're 22 years old, you're 32, you're 41 years old, and there's a guy or a gal who's 45 years old who is where you want to be. They've accomplished a lot of things. If you're into, they're saving the world, they're using their money for good causes, go associate with those people. Be around those people. And they're easy to find, but they're not going to knock on your door. They're not going to come to your apartment or your flat and ask you, oh, can I help you? And again, the best tool I've ever seen, and it's like it was designed for this, is LinkedIn. It's the best social media tool there ever was for what we're discussing. And you can find these people. Now, just remember, everybody that's on LinkedIn, all the, 20 million or whatever people that are on LinkedIn are all there for one reason. They're there because they want to do business, they want to meet people. Unlike some of the other social medias like Facebook or Twitter or, and I don't even know the names of the others, but I mean LinkedIn, they're there for a common purpose. They have a common bond, they have a common goal. They want to expand their horizons, and it's a great tool.
But you say it's so easy?
No, it's not. No, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that makes it easier, that tool. But there are other people that want to be all they can be. There are other people that want to expand their horizons. Gallup did a poll in 2016, worldwide, 87.6% of all the people on the planet, 87.6% of all the people on the planet are unhappy. I'm going to say it again because I know these are Dutchmen, right? 87, we'll just round it off. 87% of everybody that walks the face of the earth, 7.65 billion people, are unhappy.
So what went wrong?
Well, I mean...
Where did it start?
Well, if you were born in Biafra, I mean, the odds are against you. But if you were born in the Netherlands, which a lot of you were, rightly or wrongly, you had a better chance, a better opportunity than the poor kid born in Biafra. Okay? What have you done with it, if anything? Most of you, I can just look, I wore my glasses. Normally, I like to be filmed without my glasses, but last time I didn't wear my glasses, so I couldn't see your faces. I've got my glasses on now, so I can see your faces. You know what I'm getting at. You have not used the opportunities. Whereas the people in the third, fourth, fifth world countries use those opportunities to be all they can be. And money's not everything in the world, but money's the only thing anybody keeps track of. And so you can use that money that you make, as the Gates are doing in trying to save the earth, save the world, and to do good. But it all starts, you have to be serious about it. Most of the people that are engaged in personal development, for example, aren't serious. They're just, it takes up 3 or 4 or 5 hours of their time a week, and so they're fiddle farting around and they're not taking it serious. If you want to take it serious, you know, Michael is a successful mentee of mine, and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for he putting on these kinds of events. But he got serious about it a number of years ago, and he's doing a lot of good. How many of you can say the same? How many of you can say that you're serious about it? How many of you can actually say that you're trying to be all you can be? Now, I won't insult you by asking you to raise your hand because you'll just lie. We all know what the real answer is, don't we? You're not. And so if you want to be all that you can be, and if you want to be a high-performance person, and you don't have to be, I mean, 98% of all the high-performance people on the planet are introverts. I'm going to say it again slow because they're Dutchmen, right? 98% of all the people on the planet that are high-performance are introverts. Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates have something in common. They're introverts, just like you.
What means? Maybe we have to explain this more.
Okay. Introverts meaning that you don't say what you really feel. Introverts is you don't act as if you really wanted to show the person that you don't disagree with them. Introverts are when your parents were telling you shit when you were growing up, you just put your head down and kept your mouth shut. And that's why you're introverted now as adults. As you can plainly see, I wasn't raised that way. My father said, if you've got something in your mind, it should come out of your lips. If you've got something in your mind, it should come out your mouth, Dan. And God knows, I took it to heart, and I've lived that way all my life. At the TED Talk I gave a couple days ago, which Michael was there to talk to the kids. It was quite interesting when I told them that I've been talking like this since I was a teenager. I've been talking shit since I'm a teenager.
Which is some time ago.
Well, I'll be 74 in a couple months, so it is some time ago. But the point is that I had self-esteem. I didn't know till I got grown up and was an adult that everybody didn't have self-esteem. I didn't understand that. I didn't realize that everybody didn't have self-confidence. I didn't realize that everybody didn't have self-worth. Because the kids that I hung with all were like I was. Because their parents were gave them a good role model. Most of the people that come to people like Michael or any of the gurus out there, and I call him a guru, come to them because you were lacking something in your childhood. In my particular case, a lot of people come to me because I'm the alpha male father they never had. I asked the question a couple days ago, how many of you can raise your hand with this, how many of you have kids? Fuck, too bad. But anyway, you have kids, okay? Don't raise your hand now. How many of you would like to have your kids grow up just like your parents? You know the answer, don't you? Close to zero. Because they were shitty role models. Now, I'm not going to ask the second question. How many of you would like your kids to grow up and be like you? Allah forbid. God forbid. But being a high-performance person is a full-time job. Michael's known me over 20 years. I'm like this when I wake up in the morning to brush my teeth. I'm like this when I brush my teeth before I go to sleep. I'm like this 24/7, 365, and I've been like this for the better part of 50 years. I'm always like this. I'm always pushing the edge of the envelope. And that's why, I'm an overnight success. I've been doing this, I've been coaching 25 and a half years, but all of a sudden I'm popular as hell, but I've been doing this for 50 years. I have the same habits today as I had 50 years ago. The exact same habits. But they're just ingrained in me. They're ingrained in me. And for those of you that have never been around the high-performance people like I just alluded to, the Warren Buffetts, Elon Musk, God rest his soul, Steve Jobs, who I happen to have known, They were like this 24/7, 365. It wasn't an act. Now, I know Michael's like this all the time, but he and I both know people that are considered gurus, that they have a stage face and they have their real face. They don't walk their talk. And part of being a high-performance person is walking your talk. Walking your talk. And I know Michael does, otherwise I wouldn't come here and, and assist him. Because I get a lot of invitations from a lot of different people. And almost all of them I turn down because I know the guru isn't walking his talk. The guru is being phony. The guru is being disingenuous.
You're a grandfather now. You have a
Yes, I
grandson.
am. Thank you.
You showed me the picture 2 days ago. He's the future legend.
Correct.
How will you be as a granddad for him?
Hard.
It will be tough.
Yeah, I'm hard. I was hard on his father, and I'm going to be harder on him. Because I wish I could say with my hand on my heart, and this is where Michael and I, our philosophies vary. If love got the job done, you wouldn't need podcasts, you wouldn't need seminars. It doesn't. Tough love gets the job done. And the people that I've just alluded to, those names, I was doing some research for my talk, and I looked up Heineken. Gerard Heineken, who was the founder of Heineken beer in 1864, he talked his rich mother. Heineken's come from a wealthy family even before the beer. He talked his mother into buying a brewery in 1864, which they then turned into Heineken. Gerard was a hard ass, tough as nails. Now, I didn't know him, I'm not that old, but I did know Freddie Heineken, the old man, and he was hard ball buster. Now, I don't know his daughter, the current CEO of Heineken, but I'm told she's a ball buster. I did know Steve Jobs. I do know Elon Musk. I do know Warren Buffett. I do know, and they're all ball busters. Success leaves clues, kids. I just named 5 of the greatest names in business in the last 150 years. And they all have one thing in common. They're ball busters. They're hard as fucking nails. Where does that leave you?
So is it a choice?
Correct.
To be tough.
Firm but fair.
What's the fair part? Because I can imagine that most people think you're so tough, so, courageous, but tough. I don't want to be like that.
No, most people don't.
I want to be liked.
Yeah, well, see, you want to fit in. I'm the only speaker that you're ever going to hear that really, with all his heart, doesn't give a shit. If I leave here you liking me, I did something wrong. I fucking did something wrong. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here as a favor to Michael, my mentee, for 20 years. I'm not here, if you all died today, I don't give a shit. And I mean it. But Steve Jobs didn't give a shit about you either. Warren Buffett doesn't give a shit about you today. Elon Musk doesn't give a shit unless you're going to buy a Tesla car. Don't you understand? Don't you get it? You think Elon Musk wants to fit in? We know the answer is no, right? You want to fit in because you had poor role models at home. Most everybody in this room is a pleaser. You want to be liked? When I read about that people commit suicide because they were unliked on Facebook, it makes me sick to my stomach. How can the world get that fucked up that because of fucking Facebook, people are going to kill themselves? What have we come to? God almighty. Don't you see there's something fundamentally wrong with that? In that regard, the Chinese, they're banning Facebook. But 98% of the high-performance people are introverts. 98% of the high-performance people on the planet they want to be liked. 98%. We're talking, I'm at the cutting edge, the hard edge. He's not at the hard edge. He's someplace in the middle. But being liked doesn't get you a raise when you're working for whoever you're working for. Efficiency, accountability. Most people that come to seminars are there because they weren't held accountable when they were growing up. There used to be a saying when I was growing up, which is very politically incorrect now: spare the rod and spoil the child. The rod meaning beating, okay? Spare the rod, spoil the child. Now we have kids, and I'm sure many in the audience can attest to this, that have never been reprimanded, never spanked by their parents, never been screamed at, never been slapped, never been in a schoolyard fight with another kid. And look at you. I mean, we have 2 tests on my website. All my stuff's free, by the way. One is called a snowflake test. 96.4% of the people that take the snowflake test fail. The first or second question on the test is, if someone spit in your mother's face, now I'm gonna say this real slow so that you're Dutch, I remember. If someone spit in your mama's face, Baldy, you in the front row right here, okay? What are the choices? There's 4 or 5 choices. The choice that's most clicked is I would try to ascertain, I would try to figure out where he was coming from and if he had a bad day. Now, what the fuck does that have to do with spitting in your mama's face? I would try to figure out if he had a bad day. Does that mean if he had a bad day, it's all right to spit in your mother's face? We have another test. It's called Super Success Test. 98.4% flunked that test because we decided to make a softer test. Okay, well, maybe the guys really believe that they shouldn't punch the guy's fucking, stab him in the eye with a knife for spitting on your mama. Okay, we'll do a new test. It's called the Super Success Test. So we ask softer questions, hoping, praying that the results are going to be better. Boy, never underestimate how wrong you can be, kids. So the softer test was based on what kind of sacrifices are you willing to be super successful? 60 hours a week. Nobody is willing to work 60 hours a week to be successful. Nobody's willing to miss an anniversary, wedding anniversary to be successful. Nobody is willing to miss a holiday. If you booked a holiday and something important happened in business, would you tell your family to go on the holiday without you? And you're not going to go. Nobody said yes. And it's got 27 questions or 26 questions, and they flunked that test worse than the other test because you're not willing to make any sacrifices to be high performance. I still work 50, 60, I don't consider it work. I still work 50, 60 hours a week. And I haven't had to work in 35 years. 35 years. But the world has changed. I mean, and the kids, and when I started giving all my product away for free about 10 years ago, and the reason I went from the highest priced product on the planet to 0, because I got so fucking tired of you crying, moaning, and whinging. Oh, it's too expensive, I can't afford it. So now I give it to you for free. I get 3 times more emails now. Man, there's so much shit here, I don't know where to start, what do I do? So then a year ago, we developed a new product, QLA for Dummies. It was called QLA for Retards, but we got in trouble with the Retardation Association. They're gonna sue me for using that word. So we pulled that out and we said just dummies. Dummy seems to be a politically correct, acceptable word, but not retard, okay? And, but the results are even worse. Because what you're saying is, okay, fine, I wasn't raised to go hit somebody if they spit in my mother's face, but I'm not willing to miss a holiday and stay in the office and work and let my family go without me. So the bottom line, you're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to sacrifice anything to be a high-performance person. I.e.,
it's all for free on your website. All
Correct.
the tests, all the information.
Everything's free.
The audiobook. is on. Can we buy the book still, the red one?
No, the first 100 million is audio for free. And then the book that I think is better than that is the $50 billion ebook, which is also free. There's 16.8 gigs of free material. Everything that I've ever produced is free. Because I wanted to take the last excuse from that guy and that guy and that gal why you didn't do it. So I give it to you. I certainly don't need the money. I only charge, as I was telling you the other night at dinner, I used to give seminars at the airport, 1,000 people, for free in the 90s. Absolutely 100% free. And I fed them lunch. And we had cocktails afterwards. And we'd get these nasty notes. I didn't like the lunch. The chicken was cold. You try to feed 1,000 people, the chicken's gonna be cold. I didn't like the bartender didn't pour enough whiskey in my drink. This is free. And then the coup de grace, and when I stopped doing that, they wanted me to pay for parking when they came to the free seminar. So I stopped doing that.